Welcome to Learning Life Content. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Your support helps us grow and motivates us to bring you more fascinating and enriching stories. Once their power seemed limitless. From the snowy peaks of the Himalayas to the Deccan Plateau, the Mughals ruled India. Their emperors, descended from Genghis Khan and Timur, built magnificent cities and fostered a vibrant culture. Yet nothing lasts forever. By the 18th century, the Mughal Empire was a fading shadow of its former glory. The East India Company, hungry for wealth and power, chipped away at the edges of the empire. The year 1857 proved to be a turning point. What began as a mutiny among sepoys of the company's army exploded into a widespread rebellion. It was a desperate, bloody struggle for freedom. At the heart of this storm stood Bahadur Shah Zafar, the last Mughal emperor. Thrust onto the throne by rebels desperate for a figurehead, he would become a tragic symbol of a dying era. The uprising of 1857, though ultimately crushed, marked the end of the Mughal dynasty. It extinguished any hope of restoring the empire to its former glory. Bahadur Shah Zafar, captured and exiled, became a poignant reminder of the empire's demise. His fate serves as a lens through which we can examine the tumultuous events of 1857 and their enduring impact on India. The Peacock throne, commissioned by Shah Jahan in the early 17th century, was a symbol of Mughal opulence and power. Adorned with precious gems and gold, it was a masterpiece of craftsmanship. This throne, encrusted with diamonds, emeralds and rubies, was so named for its peacock-shaped structure. It was seized by Persian invader Nader Shah in 1739, marking the beginning of the empire's decline. The loss of the Peacock throne was not just a blow to the Mughal treasury, but also a symbolic loss of their imperial grandeur and authority. Bahadur Shah Zafar, a scholar and poet at heart, was hardly a ruler eager for conflict. His reign was marked more by his literary contributions than by political maneuvers. By the time the rebellion ignited, the Mughal emperor was a figurehead, confined to the Red Fort in Delhi, with little real power or influence over the vast empire that once was. Real power rested in the hands of the East India Company, which had systematically dismantled the Mughal administration and imposed its own rule. Yet when the sepoys rebelled, driven by outrage over the infamous greased cartridges rumoured to be laced with cow and pig fat, offending both Hindu and Muslim soldiers, they looked to the Mughal emperor as a symbol of resistance. Bahadur Shah Zafar, hesitant at first, eventually agreed to lend his name to the rebellion, hoping to restore some semblance of Mughal authority. This decision would have momentous consequences, as it galvanized the rebels and lent legitimacy to their cause. Across north and central India, the uprising spread like wildfire, with cities and towns erupting in revolt against British rule. From Meerut to Kanpur, Jhansi to Lucknow, Indians from all walks of life, soldiers, peasants and nobles alike, rose up against the oppressive British regime. The rebellion was marked by acts of extraordinary courage and horrific brutality on both sides, with neither the British nor the rebels showing mercy. Despite early successes and the initial fervour, the rebellion was ultimately doomed due to lack of coordination and resources. The British, with their superior firepower, disciplined troops and strategic acumen, gradually gained the upper hand, quelling the rebellion city by city. Delhi, the symbolic heart of the rebellion, fell after a brutal siege, leaving the rebels demoralized and leaderless. The capture of Bahadur Shah Zafar marked the beginning of the end for the rebellion. The emperor was exiled to Rangoon, where he lived out his final days in obscurity. The revolt sputtered on for months, but the spirit of 1857 though crushed, would never be forgotten. The events of that year laid the groundwork for future struggles for Indian independence. The capture of Bahadur Shah Zafar was a defining moment. The aged emperor, seeking refuge at Humayun's tomb, was promised safe passage by the British. This promise, however, proved hollow. Bahadur Shah Zafar, along with his family, was arrested and put on trial. The trial, a sham from the start, was intended to humiliate the emperor and erase any remaining legitimacy of the Mughal dynasty. Accused of treason and rebellion, Bahadur Shah Zafar was found guilty. Though spared execution, his punishment was no less cruel. He was exiled to Rangoon, Burma, far from the land he had ruled. The journey to Rangoon was arduous, marked by harsh conditions and limited provisions. Separated from his family and stripped of his dignity, Bahadur Shah Zafar bore his exile with stoic dignity. He spent his remaining days in a small, cramped house in Rangoon, his only solace his poetry and the company of his few remaining attendants. His poems, filled with longing for his homeland and lamentations for his lost empire, are a poignant testament to his suffering. The trial proceedings were meticulously documented, with the British keen on showcasing their dominance. The emperor's every word was scrutinized and his defense was largely ignored. The exile was not just a physical displacement, but a calculated move to break his spirit and sever his ties with his people. The fall of Bahadur Shah Zafar marked not only the end of an era, but also the scattering of a dynasty. The British, determined to eradicate any possibility of future uprisings, dealt harshly with the Mughal family. Princes were executed and their bodies displayed publicly as a warning. Others were imprisoned or banished. The British exiled Bahadur Shah Zafar to Rangoon, where he lived his final days in obscurity. The once opulent Mughal court, a centre of culture and learning, was disbanded. Scholars and artists who once thrived under Mughal patronage were left to fend for themselves. The Red Fort, the symbol of Mughal power, was looted and desecrated. Its treasures were carted off to Britain, and its halls fell silent. The Mughal treasury, filled with centuries of accumulated wealth, was plundered. Priceless artifacts and jewels were taken as spoils of war. The descendants of the Mughals, stripped of their wealth and status, were forced into obscurity. Many were reduced to begging or menial labour to survive. Many lived in poverty, their lineage a source of both pride and pain. The once great dynasty was now a shadow of its former self. The British, in their attempt to erase the Mughal legacy, had inadvertently created a narrative of resistance and martyrdom. The stories of the fallen Mughals inspired future generations to fight for independence. The Mughals, once emperors, were now remembered as victims of British imperialism. Their legacy, though tarnished, continued to influence the cultural and political landscape of India. Section 5. Enduring Splendour, the Mughal Legacy, in Stone and Verse. Even in defeat, the Mughals left an indelible mark on India. Their legacy is etched in the very fabric of the subcontinent, from its grand architecture to its rich cultural tapestry. The Taj Mahal, a testament to Mughal artistry and a universal symbol of love, stands as a testament to their architectural genius. The Mughal period witnessed a flowering of art, literature and music. The Mughal miniature paintings, known for their intricate details and vibrant colours, are prized possessions in museums worldwide. The Mughal courts were patrons of literature, producing works like the Akbarnama and the Baburnama, which provide invaluable insights into Mughal history and culture. The Mughal influence extended beyond art and architecture. Their administrative systems, land revenue policies and military innovations left a lasting impact on the subcontinent. The Mughal legacy is a complex one, marked by both brilliance and brutality, yet their contributions to India's cultural and historical landscape are undeniable. Mughal architecture is renowned for its intricate designs, including the use of detailed blueprints, symmetrical gardens, and robust fortifications. In literature, the Mughals excelled in calligraphy and poetry, with manuscripts that are celebrated for their artistic and literary excellence. Section 6. History's Mirror debating Bahadur Shah Zafar and the Revolt. The Revolt of 1857 and the role of Bahadur Shah Zafar continue to be subjects of intense debate among historians. Was the aged emperor a willing participant in the uprising? Or was he a reluctant figurehead, manipulated by rebellious sepoys? Was the revolt a mutiny triggered by greased cartridges, or was it a carefully planned war of independence? Some historians view Bahadur Shah Zafar as a tragic hero, a symbol of resistance against British imperialism. Others see him as a weak and indecisive ruler who failed to capitalize on the opportunity to regain lost Mughal glory. Similarly, the uprising of 1857 has been interpreted in various ways, from a mutiny to a full-fledged war of independence. These debates highlight the complexities of interpreting history. There are no easy answers, only multiple perspectives shaped by evidence, interpretation, and often personal biases. The legacy of Bahadur Shah Zafar and the revolt of 1857 continues to be debated, ensuring that this pivotal period in Indian history remains relevant and engaging. Some argue that Bahadur Shah Zafar's involvement was coerced by the sepoys, who needed a figurehead to legitimize their cause. Others believe he saw the revolt as a final opportunity to restore Mughal sovereignty, despite his advanced age and frailty. The debate extends to the nature of the revolt itself, whether it was a spontaneous mutiny or a premeditated struggle for independence. These intricate details and differing viewpoints make the study of Bahadur Shah Zafar and the revolt of 1857 a rich and complex field of historical inquiry. Section 7. Whispers of a dynasty, the Mughals in the 21st century. Centuries after their empire crumbled, the descendants of the Mughals live on, scattered across the Indian subcontinent and beyond. Stripped of their former glory, they live ordinary lives, their lineage a distant echo of a glorious past. Some descendants have embraced their heritage, preserving family histories and relics. Others have chosen to distance themselves from the weight of their ancestry, seeking anonymity in a rapidly changing world. The story of the Mughals today is one of forgotten grandeur and quiet resilience. They are a reminder that even the mightiest empires eventually crumble, leaving behind whispers and shadows of a bygone era. Yet, the influence of the Mughals persists in the 21st century, seen in architecture, art and fashion, where Mughal motifs and designs continue to inspire. Their culinary legacy also thrives, with Mughal-inspired dishes and flavors being celebrated in modern cuisine. Cultural festivals and events continue to celebrate Mughal heritage, keeping their traditions alive in a rapidly evolving world. Section 8. Conclusion. The long shadow of empire. The Mughal Empire, though long gone, continues to cast a long shadow over India. The legacy of the Mughals is woven into the very fabric of the subcontinent, from its majestic monuments to its diverse cultural tapestry. Their story is a reminder of the cyclical nature of power, the rise and fall of empires, and the enduring impact of the past on the present. The fate of Bahadur Shah Zafar, the last Mughal emperor, serves as a poignant reminder of the human cost of imperial ambitions. His exile marked the end of an era, the extinguishing of a dynasty that had ruled India for centuries. Yet, even in defeat, the Mughals left behind a rich legacy that continues to shape India's identity. The Mughal Empire may be a distant memory, but its impact on India's history, culture and identity remains profound. The story of the Mughals, both in their triumphs and their tragedies, continues to fascinate and inspire, reminding us of the enduring power of the past. From the rich flavors of Mughal cuisine to the serene beauty of Mughal gardens, their influence permeates everyday life in India. The architectural techniques they pioneered, the fashion they inspired, and their contributions to music and dance continue to resonate through the ages. Even the legal systems, scientific advancements, and educational institutions of India bear the indelible mark of the Mughal era. The festivals, art forms, and philosophical thoughts of India are deeply enriched by the Mughal legacy, showcasing a blend of cultures and ideas. The trade routes they established, the urban planning they implemented, and their economic policies have left a lasting imprint on the subcontinent's development. The social structures, the spirit of religious tolerance, and the diplomatic relations fostered during their reign continue to influence modern India. Their advancements in maritime trade, cartography, and expeditions have shaped India's interactions with the wider world. The military strategies, weaponry innovations, and fortifications of the Mughal era continue to be studied and admired. Their legal codes, administrative systems, and governance models have left a lasting legacy on India's political landscape. The literature and poetry of the Mughal era continue to inspire writers and poets, enriching India's literary heritage. The artistic techniques and styles developed during the Mughal period have left an indelible mark on Indian art. The architectural marvels and building techniques of the Mughal era continue to inspire modern architects and builders. The intricate designs and weaving techniques of Mughal textiles have left a lasting legacy on India's fashion industry. The exquisite jewellery and gem-cutting techniques of the Mughal era continue to be celebrated in India's jewellery industry. The agricultural practices and irrigation techniques introduced by the Mughals have had a lasting impact on Indian farming. The trade and commerce systems established by the Mughals have shaped India's economic landscape. The educational institutions and learning systems of the Mughal era have left a profound legacy on India's academic traditions. The medical practices and healthcare innovations of the Mughal period continue to influence modern medicine in India. The philosophical and intellectual movements of the Mughal era have enriched India's cultural and intellectual heritage. The spiritual and religious practices introduced by the Mughals continue to shape India's diverse spiritual landscape. The political thought and administrative reforms of the Mughal era have left a lasting impact on India's governance structures. The diplomatic strategies and international relations fostered by the Mughals continue to influence India's foreign policy. The advancements in naval architecture and shipbuilding during the Mughal era have shaped India's maritime history. The social customs and etiquette introduced by the Mughals continue to influence Indian society. The festivals and cultural events of the Mughal era have left a lasting legacy on India's celebratory traditions. The linguistic contributions and literary works of the Mughal period continue to enrich India's linguistic heritage. The artistic techniques and styles developed during the Mughal period have left an indelible mark on Indian art. The architectural marvels and building techniques of the Mughal era continue to inspire modern architects and builders. The intricate designs and weaving techniques of Mughal textiles have left a lasting legacy on India's fashion industry. Thank you for watching Learning Life content. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Your support helps us grow and motivates us to bring you more fascinating and enriching stories.